Life in the 1920s was a time of great changes and contrasts. It was a decade known for its vibrant energy, economic prosperity, and cultural transformations. Here are some aspects of life in the 1920s. The 1920s saw tremendous economic growth, hence the term Roaring Twenties. The end of World War and technological advancements led to increased industrial production, improved infrastructure, and rising consumerism. This era marked a time of prosperity for many people, especially in urban areas.
The 1920s were heavily influenced by jazz music, which was at the forefront of the cultural scene. This musical genre, with its lively rhythms and improvisation, captured the spirit and energy of the time. Jazz clubs and speakeasies sprung up, where people would gather to enjoy this new and exciting form of music.
The 1920s were also known as the Prohibition era, where the sale, production, and distribution of alcoholic beverages were illegal, however. The ban on alcohol did not stop people from finding ways to consume it. Speakeasies, secret underground clubs, thrived during this period, often filled with lively jazz music, dancing, and drinking.
The 1920s were a time of remarkable technological advancements. The introduction of home appliances such as radios, vacuum cleaners, and fridges revolutionized household chores and made life more convenient. The automobile industry also boomed, allowing people greater mobility and contributing to the development of suburban neighborhoods.
Women's liberation. The 1920s were a transformative time for women, as it marked the era of flappers. These young women challenged societal norms by embracing more progressive values, fashion, and behaviors. They rebelled against traditional expectations and sought more personal freedom and independence.
The 1920s witnessed significant movements in art and literature. The modernist movement challenged traditional concepts and experimented with new forms, styles, and techniques. Artists such as Pablo Picasso, Georgia O'Keeffe, and Salvador Dali pushed boundaries and created iconic works during this period. In literature, authors like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, and Virginia Woolf defined the era with their writing.
The Great Depression. Towards the end of the 1920s, the global economy experienced a severe downturn known as the Great Depression. This economic crisis, triggered by the stock market crash of 1929, had profound effects on people's lives, leading to high unemployment rates, poverty, and social upheaval.
The 1920s marked a major shift in societal attitudes and cultural norms. Traditional values were challenged and replaced with more liberal and open-minded views. This era saw an increase in social freedoms, particularly for young people. Women began to express themselves more freely, participating in social events, smoking, and adopting bolder fashion choices. The concept of dating and courtship evolved, with more casual and independent approaches becoming prevalent.
Sports played a significant role in the 1920s. As a source of entertainment and a means of escape, baseball, in particular, gained enormous popularity, and icons like Babe Ruth captivated the public's attention. Other sports, such as boxing, football, and golf, also gained momentum. Alongside sports, the entertainment industry flourished, with the emergence of silent films and the rise of Hollywood. Legendary actors like Charlie Chaplin and Rudolph Valentino achieved stardom during this time.
1920s witnessed remarkable advancements in technology that greatly influenced daily life. The introduction of the radio brought news, music, and entertainment directly into households, revolutionizing communication and mass media. Radio broadcasts became a popular form of entertainment, connecting people across vast distances. Additionally, advancements in aviation led to the first transatlantic flight, pushing the boundaries of human exploration.
The 1920s were not just a period of cultural shifts, but also witnessed significant social and political movements. The fight for women's suffrage culminated in the ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920, granting women the right to vote. The civil rights movement gained momentum, with African Americans advocating for their rights and cultural recognition. Proponents of temperance and women's rights also lobbied for social reforms. The aesthetic of the 1920s was defined by the Art Deco movement, which was characterized by geometric shapes, bold colors, and luxurious materials. This influenced not just architecture and design, but also fashion. Women's fashion embraced shorter hemlines, dropped waists, and more relaxed silhouettes, epitomized by the iconic flapper dress. The fashion industry started to establish itself as a global force, with Paris remaining a leading hub.
The 1920s saw significant advancements in the field of medicine and public health. The discovery and widespread availability of vaccines helped combat deadly diseases such as polio, diphtheria, and tuberculosis. The use of antibiotics also began, revolutionizing the treatment of infections. These medical breakthroughs improved overall public health and led to increased life expectancy. As industrialization progressed, awareness about environmental conservation began to arise. Efforts were made to conserve natural resources and protect national parks. Personal responsibilities towards the environment were also encouraged, such as the conservation of water and reductions in waste.
While the 1920s were an era of progress, they were not without social challenges. Discrimination, particularly against minority groups, persisted in many parts of society. Racial tensions, gender inequality, and class struggles were prevalent issues that continued to be addressed and fought against in subsequent decades.
Life in the 1920s was an exciting, transformative, and contradictory period. It was defined by economic prosperity, cultural shifts, and social changes, setting the stage for the modern era. The legacy of the 1920s can still be seen and felt in various aspects of today's society.